Today, we are here at Haby Hill. This is a brand new community that they have not even unveiled or had a grand opening yet. And Steve and I are getting you a sneak peek in before it's open to the public. Why don't we jump in right now? If this is your first time to our channel and you would like to know everything there is to know about living in San Antonio and its surrounding areas, make sure you subscribe or tap that bell for notifications to ensure that you're one of the first to be notified when we bring you new market updates. My name is Katie Powers, and my husband Steven Garza and I get phone calls, emails, and texts from people just like you every single day who are looking to make a move into the area. Whether you're 6 days or 6 months away from making that transition, we would absolutely love to hear from you. All of our information is listed right below, and Steve and I would be honored to be your realtors of choice. Now let's dive in to the gorgeous Haby Hill. We are here in the Perry home model. There are going to be 2 builders in this community. We are going to have Perry Homes and the new to San Antonio, Drees Custom Homes. So you're going to have these 2 wonderful, gorgeous, amazing builders in this community. We are located on the far west, northwest side of San Antonio. And when I say far, I mean this is out there. So there's a little drive here, but honestly, it's super peaceful out here. Beautiful homes. You can get a good deal on a gorgeous home. So prices in here are gonna range. They say upper 4s, but let's just be real. You're gonna end up 500s to lower 700s. If you're building their largest floor plan, you're gonna be very close to that 700 and pushing 725, depending on your upgrades. Drees has not built their model yet, so we do not know their pricing or their floor plans, but I can guarantee you they're gonna be in line with Perry pricing. It's just to secure the values of the homes for the neighborhood, right? So anywhere from 500 to 700 is going to be the price point. We have 60-foot lots here, so you do have a little bit room between your neighbors. They are going to be building, and it's not built yet, a community pool and a playground, and it is going to cost you $650 a year for that HOA. The tax rate is 2.4%. because there is a PUD that is mixed in that tax rate for this beautiful road that they just completed 211. So it is a 30-year PUD. I would just count on a 2.4% not interest rate, a 2.4% tax rate for this community for the foreseeable future. So we're gonna tour Perry's model home here, and then we're gonna show you a inventory home that they have ready. So if you're looking to make a move here this year in 2025, they have inventory homes being built and that are ready for you to purchase. But if you want to build, they have plenty of lots available for you to come pick the best one for you. Stick around to the very end so we can show you exactly where this community is on a map to really help you decide if it's the right community for you and your family. Why don't we go look at some gorgeous homes? All right, welcome to Haby Hill. This is the Perry model. Now this home is very large. It is over 3,600 square feet. We have 5 bedrooms, 4.5 baths, an office, a game room, and a media room. This checks a lot of boxes. So why don't we just jump right in? So this would be a wall. This is offices at the moment, but typically it would be a 3-car garage. So you would have a wall right here, which would give you a really large entry hallway. The ceilings are every bit of 20 feet and then maybe 22 feet into that little area, but you could really dress that up with a beautiful chandelier. I'm actually kind of surprised Perry didn't put a chandelier there because they're really big on chandeliers. But really beautiful entryway. Then you have an office to my right. This is a great size office, guys. One of the larger ones for their floor plans. They did a beautiful Art Deco wall, but even with the walls being painted a dark gray, still feels very spacious because it is very spacious. Then it has these double doors. You can choose when you build with Perry if you want the clear glass or you want a different type of glass in there. And then they chose to paint it white, but you can choose to stain it to match your front door. Those are all not necessarily upgraded features for Perry. Now, as you come in, again, this would be your garage, but this is your mudroom. And then this would be your door entryway into the garage. All right, so on the other side of your garage and mudroom, you do have this hallway over here, which is gonna bring you into your half bath. I really love the way they did this. They tiled that wall, and while it's a very small wall, in my opinion, that's a great upgrade. It just really pops and makes that bathroom really stand out, which would be the one that most of your guests would use since it is the half bath. You do have the laundry room over here. We're not gonna go into that quite yet. We're gonna come back to that, but does give you a frame of reference of where that is located. Then you have your guest suite here, downstairs, great size bedroom, and then you have a full bath in here. They did a tub, of course, if you had like a mother-in-law or your mom staying in here, you could just do a walk-in shower. The only thing that I would say that would drive me crazy, but again, not the primary, is the closet is behind this door. So you would have to have your bathroom door closed in order to even access the closet. Something minor, if it's just a guest, it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. But I could see my children, like if my teenager used this room, those doors would get banged up because most teenage boys are lazy. I don't know, hopefully yours isn't, but mine is. All right, so let's go take a look at the rest of this gorgeous home. As we come in, you have stunning, just stunning. Everything is stunning in this house, to be honest. I'm gonna pause right here because if you guys have seen any of our videos, I'm a big sucker for architecture, and they've done a lot of great details here that they don't necessarily do in all of their homes. So you've got the perfect Christmas tree location, but you've got a curved wall here with a curved staircase. And then when you go all the way up to the ceiling, you can really see the beautifulness that they did with that tray ceiling, and it's circled. It's just pretty. I really like curved walls. And then up here where the game room is, you've got more curves. I don't know, maybe I'm weird. What do y'all think? Do y'all like it? I think it's gorgeous. And then you have this stunning dining room. Beautiful gold light fixtures. And then they went an extra step and put it in the wall. So you've got these sconces here. It's probably not that expensive when you're building from the ground up. It's just like an extra light plug, but I just love it. I think it's such a great addition. Just classes up your formal dining room just that little more, especially if you added a buffet in there. It's just beautiful. But as you come into this huge living room, your ceilings go soaring high back to this 22 feet. I'm assuming, guys, don't quote me on the height, but it's at least 20 feet, if not 22. Very large living room. It's already large square footage wise, but when you throw in those really high ceilings, it just feels massive. Beautiful fireplace. It is a gas burning fireplace, and one thing I do want to note, it doesn't have a mantle. I don't know if you guys have noticed the trend of no mantles, but the mom in me instantly goes to, but where do I hang my stockings? What do you do? How is Santa gonna find us? Those are all the questions my kids would ask, but it's a very sleek, new look. It's definitely more modern. But then you have this gorgeous kitchen. So they did do a little extra with the waterfall countertops, quartz. They also did a little extra with the double oven, and they are full-size ovens. They're not like the little half-size ovens. So full-size ovens. This is a gas cooking community, so you do have the gas range here. Another really cool feature that we even have one of you guys building it in a different builder in a different community, but this is really cool. So this is a charging pad that they put in under your quartz countertops. You throw it on there and it charges. I really love it because you guys tell me, I don't really use cookbooks anymore. I use my phone, right? So having it to be able on a charging pad to charge while I'm cooking and not having to worry about my screen going dark and all of those little minor things that kind of drive people crazy, drives me crazy anyway. It's just really nice to have that charging pad here when most of your time is usually spent living room, kitchen, right? So it's a really cool feature, and I'm seeing it more and more in homes, which is really cool. So you do have your corner pantry here. Now they did a very sleek look here in the kitchen. I honestly really love the classic white with the wood mixed in. So they did white everywhere else, and then your island is this beautiful honey wheat type of a color. Wood stain is an upgrade with Perry, but I like that they did the vent hood to really bring it all together and tie it in with that champagne gold. It's just, I'm loving it. What do you guys think? Any thoughts, comments? Drop them below. Steve and I love to hear your feedback about homes that we show you guys. So you have your eat-in kitchen here, breakfast nook, breakfast room, lots of different names for this room. The one thing I want to point out in here is all of these are beautiful picture windows. Now Perry is known for this because they have a really high HERS rating. They're very energy efficient. So they put these beautiful picture windows in here. If you're buying inventory, it's just kind of a thing. But if you burn things when you cook, like I do, bacon all the time, you cannot open your windows. So you do have a slider door that you can open, but just something to think about if you are building from scratch. That's why you keep Steve and I around when you're building, for these little nuances that you don't necessarily think about, but we have helped build so many homes. We can help give you those little tidbits. It might not be something you care about. You might not cook at all. You just have this beautiful kitchen for show, right? I don't know. But if I was going to build it, I would put probably these two windows to open so that I can air out my house, but then have these beautiful picture windows without having the seam in the middle. Just some food for thought. We have had some clients choose not to buy a Perry inventory home because they couldn't air their home out. So just something to think about. Let's go check out this primary bedroom. All right, here we are. This is a gorgeous room, high ceilings. What do you guys think of wallpaper? Wallpaper's making a comeback. I have a friend who is stationed in, I think she's in Germany now. She was in Dutchland. I don't know. I'm not a very good at geography, guys, so bear with me, but she sends me German chocolate all the time and I love it. But she was telling me wallpaper is making a huge, like wallpaper is huge in Europe and the US will catch up in a year or two. And now it's literally been about a year and a half since we had that conversation, and now I'm seeing wallpaper in all of these models. So she wasn't wrong. Tabitha, if you're watching, you weren't wrong. It's just cool to hear from our beautiful military families that travel all over what they see on the other side of the ocean. So wallpaper's making a comeback. These are the windows that I was talking about where you can open them. You do have that seam in the middle, so it's not one big picture window, but I like being able to open windows. We do get a good 2 to 3 months a year where you have gorgeous 75 to 85 degree weather that you could really enjoy. Give your AC a break. So you have your primary bathroom over here. You've got your barn door here. This is a choice. It is also an upgrade, this specific door with Perry. You might hate this. Steve absolutely hates barn doors. If you choose not to go that route, you're gonna have the smaller French doors that open with the dummy handles. They just have the ball at the top. So you would typically have that. Now, as you come into this primary bathroom, It's smaller than a lot of Perry floor plans offers. Usually they offer 2 primary closets with a larger bathroom, but this one's laid out really well, I'm not gonna lie. So you've got beautiful same quartz as the kitchen, 2 sinks. They chose not to do a makeup vanity because they did all these extra cabinets, which is awesome. Huge soaking tub, and it's not in the middle of the room, because a lot of floor plans these days have the tubs in the middle of the floor plan. But this is beautiful. This is an upgrade. I'm just letting you guys know. Then you have a huge walk-in shower. They've taken the same pattern from the floors on a smaller rectangular tile, put it on the walls, and then they put this beautiful subway tile. I like it because it's a different gradient gray, like it's all together, it works really well. Then you've got a bench, but this is a great size shower. You can add in your rain shower if you wanted to, but also another great thing to keep in mind, you have your turn on way over here. That's important if you don't think about it. A lot of people will put them here, and then when you turn it on, you have to get cold water. This way you can turn it on, let the water get warm, and then get in the shower. Super smart. Okay, so you've got your toilet throne over here. You have your linen closet. And then you have a pretty large primary closet in here. They even put additional shelving back here. Good size. And then as promised, this is your laundry room. So when you build, you can choose to have this door or not. I really think it's a great idea. Easy access to the laundry room. So that is what we have for downstairs. Let's go take a look upstairs to go check out those 3 bedrooms and all of the entertainment space up there. Let's go take a look. All right, let's go up these beautiful stairs. Again, the rounded walls and architecture. Gorgeous. So as you come up here, you have your game room. I just want to point out they even curved the rails here. It's just pretty. It just adds that little something. You can see right into your living room. And then on this other side, you can see right to the entryway. Great big game room. They went extra with the beams in the ceiling, but good size. And then you have the media room. What do y'all think of this? I love the placement of this because you can just shut the doors, close out that noise, have a movie night, right? Put the kids in here. Obviously you can have a movie night with them in here, but you know, if you're entertaining downstairs, you can have a movie and video games and shut that door so the noise isn't wafting over and down to the living room. But over on this side, you have a guest suite. Good sized bedroom with its own bathroom and a walk-in closet. Now on this side of the upstairs, you have 2 more bedrooms. So this would be bedroom number 4 at the front of the house upstairs with a walk-in closet. And then you have a bathroom right over here with, it's really shared. So it's access to from the hallway. And then you have your 5th bedroom in here. Good size room with a walk-in closet and attic access through that closet. And then this is the bathroom where the upstairs, you know, your guests from upstairs can come and use, but also attaches from here. All right, so now that we have shown you everything in this massive home, let's go check out the outdoor living. All right, so you've got your sliding doors here, 3 panes. They are heavy and huge. Then you have an extended patio here. Now they did upgrade it with the tile on the floors. Typically you would just have a concrete slab, but this is an extended patio. It is very large. It comes with 2 fans, blocked and wired. I would personally add a 3rd one because this is so big, but totally up to you. You can also add a gas stub out here, a sink, all of those things you can add when you're building. As you can see, the backyard is decent. You don't have a massive backyard, but this is also a very big footprint. This floor plan is huge. So they are 60-foot lots, which mean the frontage of the lot is 60 feet wide. Does not mean the depth. The depth is gonna change depending on the lot and the lot placement, right? So if you're building a 1-story, like the one next door, that backyard's gonna be even smaller because you have an even bigger footprint on just the downstairs portion, right? So depends on what size lot you get. There's plenty to choose from out here. So you can go off of a deeper lot if you wanted to, or if you don't want a lot to mow, these lot sizes are perfect. Now we're gonna go take you to go see an inventory home so you can see what you would actually get from like a regular build without all of the extra bells and whistles they put in the model. And then if you stick around to the very end, I'm gonna bring you this neighborhood on a map, Google Maps, so you can see exactly where it's located and if it's the right neighborhood for you. Let's get after it. All right, welcome to the inventory home. This is another large home. This is a just over 3,000 square feet, 1-story home, 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. You've got an office, a game room / media room, whatever you want to use it for as well. So let's dive in and show you around this gorgeous home. When you come in, you do have higher ceilings, not 22 feet. It's not a 2-story, but you do have some tray ceilings there. Again, very kind of caught off guard that Perry doesn't have any chandeliers. Typically they have one here and then one also in the middle room, but you can add that in, I'm sure. You do have an office right off the entryway. It is very much a very true square. But I love these picture windows, full length, beautiful windows with the grids on them. But really great space. They've also done tile flooring. So while it looks like wood, this is tile. And what I will say about Perry, if you choose to build with Perry from scratch, not purchasing an inventory, they have like, don't quote me on the number, but like 7 to 10 tiles that look like wood like this, different colors, that are all a part of their base. So you can have these tiles for no additional upgrade charge. The only time it's gonna be upgraded is if they don't typically do tile in a room. So your living room, they still typically will carpet it. It would be an upgrade to just run this tile into there. But my point is you get a lot of selections for the base model, which you don't necessarily get with other builders. So this flooring would be something that is in the base package, which is very beautiful. Okay, so we come to this part of the hallway. You've got 2 different ways to go. To my left, your right, you have your mudroom here. You have your laundry room. You have your half bath. It's very small. Whoop. Oops. And then you have your 3-car tandem garage. If I can figure out how to open that door. You do have a couple stairs down. But you do also have a little bump out here for storage, which is nice. So 2-car garage door. But then you get your 3rd car bay back here. So another thing to note about Perry Homes, if it is located in a gas community, which this community does offer gas, they automatically come with a tankless water heater. That's standard for Perry on gas communities. So you automatically get that tankless water heater, which is really nice. And then they also pre-plumbed here for your water softener, which honestly in Texas, spend the money for the water softener. You need it. Our water is very hard, and you will thank me later when you're cleaning your sinks and your showers. It'll be so much easier to clean everything if you have a water softener, because our water is really hard. It's got sulfur in it, so over time you'll start to see like a discoloration on your plumbing if you don't have a water softener. It doesn't hurt anything, it's just a pain in the butt to clean. All right, let's go take a look at the rest of the house. All right, on the opposite side, you have 2 bedrooms with a full bath. These are good sized bedrooms. And then I also want to note these bedrooms in inventory homes don't have ceiling fans. However, they do block and wire them so that you can add a ceiling fan, and they put 2 switches here. So you have one for your light, one for your fan. Just an added bonus that they automatically do. That is not an upgrade. That's just every room is blocked and wired for a fan. Now, as you come this way, you have a media room / game room. I would consider this a media room because there's no windows. But it's huge, really big, very large. So you could do a lot of things. If you built this floor plan from the scratch, you could add in all kinds of things like pre-wire for speakers, ceiling fans, whatever you want. But it's also a great second office, game room, whatever you want. I just really like windows, so I would make this a media room. The location is really great. In some of, like Perry builds this floor plan a lot of places. Sometimes you have a closet here and a closet here. Sure, you could add that in if you built, but you do have your coat closet here. Now, welcome to the open space. How gorgeous is this? So before I show you all of this, let's go look at the next guest suite, which is right down this hallway. It has its own bathroom. Now, again, take a note that the tile does not go to the ceiling. This is your typical inventory home. This is base model. This is what they give you, right? So you can choose what tile you want. They give you about 4 or 5 tile selections that are base model. That is one of them. They tile it to that section, and then you can choose to upgrade a tile to the ceiling. Good size room with a walk-in closet. This is bedroom number 3, right? This would be your formal dining room right here. Very large, but they also added in a buffet over here to help complete this formal dining room. It's one of the things about these floor plans that are so open living concept. Sometimes it's hard to see the defined rooms, but adding that buffet in really helps define that is the formal dining room. Then you have your living room, very spacious gas fireplace here. And then you have your living room right over here. your kitchen right over here, not your living room. So you have beautiful quartz. This is very similar quartz, if not the same quartz they put in the model home. I love that they did a bank of drawers over here. But another thing that I want to point out, there's no hardware on these cabinets, right? When you buy an inventory, typically, or when you build, hardware on your cabinets are upgrades, okay? This is why we like showing you these inventory homes so you can really get an idea, because we always talk about the upgrades in the models, but you don't really understand it until you sit at the design table. And every single one of you can attest that have done this before. You hate the word upgrade by the time you're done with the design center because it feels like everything is an upgrade. But the truth is, when you build a home, there's a lot of little details. And so builders cut out a lot of the details to make it easy to build and then charge extra for the things that are additions. Hardware is one of them. So you have your corner pantry. Also note, single oven, there's not a double oven. That comes standard as well. Now I will say, Perry's appliance packages, they start with pretty good appliances to begin with. Some builders, they give you the bare minimum. Perry already starts you with ones that are, Wi-Fi, convection, they do all the things already, and then you could upgrade to the larger double ovens or, the upgraded appliance package. But these are already pretty good to begin with. That's a really deep microwave. Interesting. Then you have your range. They did gray cabinets on the island and then white on all of the exterior. This is a really popular backsplash. The little hexagons, they're very popular. And then they did do the 3 pendants. So smaller pendants, same size-ish island, awesome. That's pretty much your standard sink as well. And then this is your breakfast nook, is probably what I would call this because it's a little smaller. You do have your windows. Okay, so we just saw the model, right? So I'm gonna point out, just like I did in the model, picture windows. Beautiful, you cannot open them. Picture windows. Beautiful, you cannot open them. Dining room. Picture windows. Again, they're gorgeous, but you cannot open them. If you never air out your home, doesn't matter, right? This is energy efficient. Your electric bill is gonna be extremely minimal because of it. Steve would murder me because I would burn bacon like I do all the time and the whole house is gonna smell for quite some time. Now you do have a door here. So you could stand here and, do the air out, right? But I like opening my windows. Anyway, I digress. Okay, into the primary. They vaulted the ceilings in here. I love that. Super cool. If you added some beams in there, it'd be even cooler. You can open these windows. I also want to point out, Perry chose to do the wrought iron fencing on the back of this fence because this property behind here has not been sold and they don't have plans as of right now. So your backyard would be crops and you get a really pretty cool view from here. They did put wood privacy fences on the side, but when we were talking to the Perry rep, they genuinely chose to put the wrought iron there so you can have a view. Now, that does not mean that is going to be the view forever. So please keep that in mind. This part of town is really growing and I bet in the next 5 years that's gonna be another neighborhood. But for now, it's a really cool view. You get to watch the corn crops. Okay, so this is your very typical Perry bathroom, right? tub in the middle, and you have 2 vanity sinks. I also love showing you this inventory because this is builder basic for Perry, right? You have a mirror. It's not framed in. It's nothing special. Now, when you build, you can add the frames in. They're not very expensive to upgrade that. I think it's really important. It is a quartz, but it is the thinnest quartz. It is not like the countertop in the kitchen, right? They did gray, which is not an upgrade, no hardware. This is what you get if you do not upgrade anything on this side, right? This tub is an upgrade. Typically they do the built-in with tile all the way around, and Perry does do a good job of angling off those corners so you're not getting hit with the corners every time you walk around. But this part is an upgrade for an inventory home. They don't typically do the standalone tubs. Your shower is right over here. Good size walk-in shower. Again, tile stops. Is not tiled to the ceiling. That would be an upgrade. You also see a lot of models where they even tile all the way around. They don't do that in inventory or your basic builds. So you do have 2 closets here. You have your throne room here for the toilet. And then you have 1 closet here. I would say that's probably a his closet. You have a linen closet right here. And then you have a large walk-in. Pretty big. One thing I really love about Perry is they do typically do his and her closets. Steve and I would get divorced if we had to share a closet. I can tell you that right now. And it's not because I would have a problem, it's very much because he would have a problem. So sometimes, depending on your marriage, 2 closets is a win. So these are the smart homes, where Steve calls it the brain. So this is where you would plug in your Wi-Fi router, modem, whatever they call it. But it has all of your wiring, what's it called, Steve? You're the techie person. Yeah, so it's got what are these, Cat 5s?
Yeah, but one thing you gotta keep in mind is, do you want to do the upgraded box, or is this sufficient? So it's gonna be a question when you go to your low voltage meeting. And in today's world, having a bigger box is really cool.
Yeah, it's something you want to think about, like how many devices are you streaming at one time? How much Wi-Fi do you need? That's going to determine how big of a box that you want. What I will say is when you go to your low voltage meeting, if you're building from scratch and not building an inventory, pick their brains. If you're not already a techie, pick their brains. I'm not a techie. I don't genuinely understand a whole lot of that. I just know I'm on my Wi-Fi and my Wi-Fi works. But it is hardwired into the home. So it is great if you're going to be running multiple devices at one time. You might want to upgrade that box, but that's the good thing about the low voltage is you're not talking to like a Perry rep who sells homes like Steve and I. We deal with the big things in the home. You're talking to a techie who knows exactly what you will need if you explain how you plan to use the internet in your home. So just keep that in mind. Now, we have shown you all 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, everything this home has to offer except for the outside. So let's go take a look at the outdoor living. All right, so we've got a large covered patio here. Again, concrete. They did not tile it. They did paint it, which is nice. But this is your typical patio, right? It is blocked and wired, that little plate there. It's blocked and wire for a ceiling fan, so you can always add an outdoor fan. The other thing that I want to point out, you might not, this might not be a big deal for you, but I have noticed this a lot recently with some of you guys that have come in to build from scratch. Window frames. So Perry's gonna give you white or this cream color, mauve gray color. If you want the black frames like the model had, that most of these model homes have, or a lot that you're gonna see like on Pinterest and things, black frames are definitely in right now. Perry charges you for that. Highland charges you for that. Lots of builders charge you to upgrade to the black framed windows. So again, if you want a home with black frame windows because you see it everywhere and you love it, just keep that in mind. There is a charge. I think one of our clients that just closed in May, it was a $3,900, so $3,900 for the upgrade just for the frames to turn black. It was also a very large home, so it's gonna change depending on how many windows, right? But we don't really ever talk about that. And I feel like the model homes show better because they have the black frames. It's just something that your eye is drawn to. But you can do a real subtle. But if you're wanting like a modern looking home, you kind of need to go black frames in my opinion, but just something to point out. So here's your size yard. They do sod and sprinkler the whole yard, front and back. Good size-ish, right? This is a 1-story, takes up a huge portion of the lot. So you get a privacy fence in this size lot, right? If you go to an acre lot, totally different ball game, right? But when you're looking at these size 45, 50, 60, 70 foot lots, you do get fenced, sod, and sprinkler system front and back. Covered patio. So you can see it's fenced all the way. They do not stain the fences. So Steve and I are doing this on our own house. If you are not from Texas and you have never lived in a place where the heat cooks things, if you want your fence to last longer than 5 to 7 years, stain it. I really, really would encourage you. Could you, like Steve and I put our fence up, what, 2-3 years ago? And we just got lazy and we didn't stain it. So we've been power washing it and now we're staining it. It's actually getting stained today while we're out shooting content. But it will make the fence last much longer especially out here when you're living where all these crops are. It's gonna get some dirt on it when they come and harvest their crops. So you'll just wanna stain that fence. I would also put that in like a side bank account, just kind of know, budget for it, that's something worth doing to make your fence last longer. But overall, this is what you get in Haby Hill. This home, this inventory home as is selling for $625. So if it is something you're interested in, give us a call, give us a ring. They've got 3 more, they've got 1 other inventory home ready to go, and then they've got 3 more that are being built that will be ready by end of year 2025. So if you need to get into a home by the end of this year, you've got inventory homes. If you want to build, they're building at a 6 to 7 month time frame. So if you picked a lot today, you could have a home by spring of 2026. So just depends. They're going to have they're going to make multiple phases. It's going to keep building back. And then Drees Custom Homes will be in here probably in the next 6 months. They haven't even built their model yet, right? So it's gonna be a while. They do have lots that they're pre-selling, but they don't have their model here yet. So don't leave. We're gonna bring you a map video right now so you can see the location of this home. If you are military stationed at Lackland, this might be an option for you. It's right off 211, straight shot in. If you're working medical center, this might be too far out. I don't know, depends on your drive. So depending on where you're working, that's how Steve and I always suggest, is based off where you're working if it's a great location. But let's dive into the map video so you can see where we are on a map. Let's get after it. All right, so now that we have seen the beautiful model and the inventory home in Haby Hill, let's jump on the map and see exactly where this location is in relation to San Antonio. Let's dive in. All right, so here we are on a map, San Antonio as a whole. I'm zoomed out pretty far just so you can see the overall makeup of San Antonio. We're gonna run over some quick housekeeping items just to help you guys understand. If you are from outside of the San Antonio area, it always helps to understand freeways and know how to get around. So San Antonio has two main outer loops. We have Loop 1604, which is your outer loop of San Antonio. Of course, we've grown outside of Loop 1604, but that is your outer loop. Your inner loop is 410, which goes around the inside of San Antonio. And when you get here, you will start to hear locals talk about inside the loop, outside the loop. This is very common lingo that you're gonna hear. So once you're here, you'll start to understand how the locals speak, but that's usually inside 410, outside 410, inside 1604 is usually how we talk about where things are located. Then you have I-10, which comes in, this I-10 freeway comes all the way from California into Florida, but in San Antonio, it goes north and south. So it comes in from the Bernie area, it comes down all the way through downtown San Antonio and then jets out east, going towards Houston and then to Florida if you wanted to do that. And if you go up north, it'll take you Bernie into Kerrville and goes north and then jets out west to California. Then you have 281, which is Bulverde Spring Branch up north here. And then it comes into downtown area and then actually turns into 37 going down south this way. And then you have I-35, which if you go north I-35, you'll run into Austin. It'll take you all the way to Dallas and then continues north. If you come south I-35, it does merge with 410 for a little bit and then comes down this way. Sorry, my mouse is acting crazy. Comes down this way going south. Then you also have Highway 16. Now you will know, or the locals will know you're not from around here. If you call it Highway 16, we call this Bandera Road and it takes you to Bandera, imagine that. And then you have this new freeway, which is 211, which we are gonna talk about because Haby Hill is right off 211. So as you can see, 211 is significantly outside of Loop 1604, okay? So we probably said that a couple times in the video, but now you can visually see 211 is on the outside of 1604, and the main freeway on this side is I-90, which will take you Castroville, and if you take I-90 all the way, it'll take you to Uvalde and then into Mexico. It also turns into I-10. So if you take it going east, you'll go 90, it turns into I-10 and then out towards Houston, right? So those are really your main freeways. If you are living or wanting to be on the west side of town, you will really just use all of these over here. Now, the cool thing about San Antonio is they've really built, most cities are like this, you have everything you need within a 5-10 mile radius of things. So most people live in their bubbles. But some of the main things that you want to know where they're at in San Antonio is the airport, right? The airport is going to be located right here. Actually right here. 281, where's Buck Parkway, 410. So the airport, San Antonio International Airport, is located right here. So if you are using them frequently, like you travel weekly, twice a month for work or pleasure, Haby Hill, just know Haby Hill's gonna be over here. So that's a distance, that's a 45-minute drive, most likely just to get to the airport, depending on times. But just keep that in mind. So airport's over here. You have North Star Mall over here off 410. And then you have La Cantera and a lot of La Cantera and the Rim over here, so you are closer in that area. So those are kind of the main things that people want to know. Downtown is obviously over here, and you could jump 151 to 90 to downtown and probably get there in 30 minutes. So I'm going to show you later in this video exactly some drive times on there so you guys can see, and it's not just me guesstimating. But for right now, let's zoom in and find on the map where Haby Hill is. All right, so Haby Hill is located right here off 211. So as you can see, 211, this is Culebra. This is Petrinko. And this is Wiseman. So when Steve and I came, we just took Wiseman. We came 1604 Wiseman, and then this is Tally Road. So you take Tally Road, and then we cut through this neighborhood to 211 and onto 211. So that's how we came, because we're coming from, you know, north to northeast San Antonio, coming from 1604 that way. So what I would say as we zoom into where Haby Hill is, here we go. Haby Hill is right here. This is the neighborhood for Perry Homes and Drees. It's only showing Perry, but Drees hasn't put their stuff in there. So distance to things. As you can see, you have an HEB right here. This is your Alamo Ranch HEB. They are working on extending this Alamo Ranch Parkway through here. So once that's completed, that would probably be your closest shortcut. But you have easy access to Culebra right here, and you could come down north to Wiseman Road, which would also cut you through. But I would think for this sake, going to Culebra and coming into the Alamo Parkway to this HEB is probably your closest HEB and easiest to get to. Keep in mind, this part of town, 211 is new. We've had 211 down south, but they just ran 211 all the way up. So all of this area on both sides are all new builds being built, except for this one little neighborhood right here off Tally Road, Cinnamon Trails, I think is that neighborhood. Those are acreage properties, older homes. But all of this area is genuinely, as you could see on the video, cropland, right? Like farming land that's now getting turned into neighborhoods. So you're not gonna have an HEB that close. I mean, it's still close, right? You're 10 minutes away, less than 10 minutes. I'm gonna zoom out just a little bit more, but you just don't have all of, like, if you live in Alamo Ranch, your walking distance to your HEB, to your gas stations, to CVS, to doctors, to restaurants, right? All of those things in that area. This neighborhood in Haby Hill isn't going to have all of those amenities or easy things yet, because it's a brand new area of town that's just growing. So keep that in mind when I say that everything's going to be at least 10 minutes. You will have to drive. This is not, you know, on the walkability scale. This is not where you can like walk to your HEB. So you also could drive if you wanted easy. Let's say like Haby Hill is right here. If you stay on 211 and go south straight down to Petrinko, that would probably, in my opinion, be the fastest, because there are really no stoplights. It's just a straight shot. Right here at Petrinko and 211, we now have an HEB, shopping center, Chick-fil-A, all of the things that are pretty quick. This would be a 5-minute drive. You could still go north to Culebra and take Culebra to Alamo Ranch Parkway and go to this HEB, but I think this one truly is the path of the least resistance. But you have everything. You have right straight down, you have HEB, you have coffee shops, you have all the fast food, like I said, Chick-fil-A, but you also have Taco Bell, KFC, like there's all the fast foods there. We don't have a lot of restaurants yet, but they're coming. When the grocery store gets there, you really start to see a lot more things pop up. But in that HEB shopping center, you also have like a nail salon, It's starting to get all of those little things, like the Bobo Tea shop has popped up, and you've got other stuff coming around, right? If you go in Petrenko this way, of course, right when you hit 1604, whether you come in from Culebra or Petrenko, you're gonna have all the restaurants. You'll have another HEB over here. You have shopping all along 1604 here, like Ross Dress for Less. You have a Costco. You have a movie theater. So you have all of those things close, but again, it is a drive. We're talking 10 to 15 minutes is probably what you're looking at, 10 to 15 minutes to get to 1604. 5 minutes to get down to Petrenko on 211, and you're probably 10 minutes to Alamo Ranch, coming up 211 to Culebra and over. Just keep in mind, if you're driving Culebra or Petrenko, it's going to be light after light after light. They are timed pretty well. It's just going to depend on the traffic and if you get stuck at that light for an extra turn or not. The other thing I want to mention is Wiseman is going to be your fastest bet if you ask me. You guys might, if you're local, you might feel differently. Wiseman's pretty fast, but if you are going at true rush hour hours, right? 7 to 8:30 in the morning or 4 to 5:30, this road is going to be packed because there are a lot of neighborhoods. This is the back way into Alamo Ranch. There's also a ton of neighborhoods off of Tally Road and off Wiseman. So a lot of you are military members that live on this side of town. Not everybody, but a lot. And they come in from the base and everybody's trying to get home at the same time, right? So Wiseman tends to be backed up a little bit more in the afternoons. I'm assuming that would be in the morning. I'm not over there in the morning. So you guys drop me a comment, let me know if you live over there and you see that. But when I'm over there showing at 4 or 5 o'clock, Wiseman is heavy traffic. It's easy to get into Alamo Ranch right here on this Cottonwood, because everybody's going and just turning right. But if you are going further into Tally, there are some stoplights there and it will take some time. They are widening that road, so it will get better, but as of right now, that's kind of how it is. Same with Tally Road. Tally Road is one way each way, so it is a smaller road. When you get closer to Petrenko, it does widen, but they are working on this road right now, so it will get better and easier as well. But in the meantime, if you're looking in this area, you just have to know this is a brand new area, brand new community. You're gonna have a little more drive time until the city makes its way out to you, okay? So let me show you exactly some drive time from Haby Hill to the airport, to the HEB, just so you can get an idea and it's not just my estimations. Okay, so here you see it automatically took you to, when I typed in Haby Hill to HEB, it automatically took you to the Alamo Parkway HEB, and it's much longer than I thought, right? If you're driving, it's gonna be 17 minutes. Now let's see if I zoom out and I say HEB off Petrenko, boom, 9 minutes, right? 5 to 10 minutes, that's an easy one. I would personally, this is where I would shop. If I lived in Haby Hill, I would just come straight down Petrenko, because you avoid the Culebra, all the things on Culebra. And then you have the Wiseman Road here that goes to Tally. So as you can see, it comes in and then they cut over. Okay, so let's do airport. All right, 35 minutes. So, and it's 11 a.m. right now. So that would be a great time because the traffic isn't crazy. I would say if you go at 8 o'clock, it is going to be a 45-minute drive, but 35-minute drive, more or less, 35 to 45-minute drive to the airport. Let's do Lackland Air Force Base for you guys, my military members, 30 minutes. Okay, so if you are working and if you want, I mean, some of you guys are used to 30-minute commutes because you don't want to live on base or close to base, completely understandable. This would be a 30-minute drive to the base. But I will say 211, a lot of you military members live in this area off Petrenko and off 211. So your drive home would be a little longer. Let's just be real honest. 211 is still not a huge freeway, right? It's 4 lanes in some sections and 2 in others. So it would take you closer to 45 minutes to get home. But again, 15-minute difference may not be a big deal for you. What's another one? Where else do you guys want to check? Let's do Riverwalk. If you were to go downtown, you are 35 minutes. So if you guys remember me saying this on any of my other videos, I always say everything in San Antonio is 20 to 30 minutes away, typically from where you're at. And this is just proving everything is typically 20, 30 minutes. When you live this far out of town, you got to give yourself 15 minutes just to get in. Last but not least, let's just do to 1604. 1604 Culebra. Whoa, that took you way crazy. We didn't want to go to Woodlawn Lake. That's way further than what I was thinking. There we go. Let's go Walmart. So from Haby Hill to the Walmart right here off Culebra would be 19 to 22 minutes depending on traffic and ways. So as you can see on this map, it's showing you there's traffic, right? So as you can see where the yellow spots are, those are your stoplights. That's just going to depend how backed up it is. If you hit that stoplight 2 or 3 times, it's just going to depend on that. But overall, Culebra is going to be your go-to in my opinion, or Wiseman. As you can see, it's also telling you to take this alternate route, Wiseman or Tally. So you're really going to have all of these options, which I kind of like about this neighborhood. You can go Culebra, you can go Wiseman, you can go Potranco. You've got some different routes depending on how traffic is doing. If Culebra has an accident, you might want to drive a little bit further to Potranco to get away from it. It's just going to depend. But overall, you have everything within 15 minutes of you, right? Coffee, HEB, which is your grocery store. You have a Walmart within 20 minutes. You have a Costco within 20 minutes. You have restaurants and everything are all along Culebra 1604. So really everything that you would need is going to be in that area. You also have hospitals in that area. You have a hospital right over here. And then that's a good one. Let's do one last one to Medical Center. 35 minutes. So Medical Center is right here off of I-10 and 410 in this vicinity. So from Haby Hill, you would be 35 minutes. So really, you're 35 minutes to everything. So hopefully that helped. It just gives you an idea of where it's at. But I do want you to remember that this is a newer area of town. So it is not, and that's kind of how it is for these new builds. They're very few and far between that they find them inside, especially inside Loop 410. Most of them are going to be 1604 and outer loop, because that's the land. That's where there is room to build. So if you are interested in these new builds and Haby Hill specifically, reach out to us. All of Steve and I's information is listed right below. We would love to get to know you and learn more about your specific situation. And if Haby Hill is not the right neighborhood for you, we'd be happy to discuss what your lifestyle needs are so that we can help guide you in some areas that might fit you and your family better. But thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful, and please know these are some gorgeous Perry homes and Drees homes to come, and we will give you an update once Drees builds their model home and starts building in there. That way you can really get an idea of both builders in this community. Thanks so much for tuning in, you guys, and we will see you on the next one.